champ is here.
We will definitely not shut up and dribble.
The champ is here. I must be the greatest. The champ is here.
I'm going to continue to stand with the people.
The champ is here.
I will not lose.
I'm a bad man. I shook up the world.
Yes, welcome. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with we. My name is EJ, and I got my man,
MH.
Yes, he is the DB of the show. We are Black in Sports, giving a voice to the culture that won't shut up and dribble. Here, interviewing the best professionals in the game and in the boardroom. You know, we're covering it all, laughing at it all, while providing a platform to be heard. So without further ado, you know how we do it. We jump right into welcoming our guests, all right? So he's a Pine Hills, Florida representative. So he's, never home, but he's always repping. He is a writer, keynote speaker, philanthropist. He's an activist. He's like, and then what, son? And then what? I need Clue to drop the bombs on him, man, because he got so much thing. But he also is noted for hitting a ball over Niagara Falls. So we're going to get into a little bit of that as well. That's like one of them Ripley's Believe It or Not kind of things, right, where he do that. And then we're going to get into the real crust-wise here, and he's one of long ball champions. So I want to give a Ric Flair 2 claps. And a woo to my man Maurice Allen, man. Let's go.
Oh man, what's happening, fellas? How y'all doing, man?
You got it, man. So hey, how we start the show, man, is we ask you for a shoot your shot moment. So this could be just like a quick story. Could have been kind of your days growing up, high school, could have been in college, whenever, anytime in life, but a shoot your shot moment. And it's just kind of where you went for it all, bet on yourself. It could be shooting your shot at the misses, or just anything in life. You either won or learned a lesson. Give us that shoot your shot moment.
Shoot my shot moment, man. My whole life is a shoot your shot moment, but I'll go with the one moment that changed it all. I was in Atlanta going to school at Life University up in Kennesaw, chiropractic school, graduated from FAM, and I remember telling my roommate who played football at FAM when I ran track, I was like, hey, I'm too big to be in this room. And my boy looked, he was like, you know what, this is kind of small in here. I was like, nah, bro, you ain't hearing what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, I don't get it. I was like, I know you don't get it. And I ended up getting kicked out of school because I wasn't going to class. I was practicing golf 24/7, ended up getting kicked out, and I had to sleep in my car for 3 months. I bet on myself and the talent and ability that God gave me. And I knew that God was speaking to me and telling me this is where I was supposed to go. So I was never worried. It was a struggle, but I was never angry. I was never disappointed, and it ended up being what it is. So, I shot my shot. I stepped out on faith. I mean, I guess that's what shooting your shot is stepping out on faith. So,
hey, man, there it is.
100%, man. Well, where's your love for sports start? Man, I grew up in a sports family, man. So it's wild to think about the amount of people that I grew up from the time I was young. I saw it all. So I understand that people say that you have, what do they call it? You have the ability to make a choice, free thought, free decisions. I really don't believe that. I didn't have a choice but to be great. I looked at my parents, I looked at my step parents, I looked at my grandparents. It's not the grandparents of today. It's not the parents of today. My mom was like, you make your friends at the schoolhouse. I said, ain't nobody got no schoolhouse no more. That ain't even a thing no more. Like, who's still living in these schoolhouses? Like, you know what I mean? But it was dope to have that. I grew up around people that I thought were normal, only to find out that they're Hall of Famers. Like Julius Erving. My cousin played in the league. I was around Bob Hayes. I was around all these people who were legends. And I was like, man, this is like, it was normal to me. But I think the other part of it was seeing how hard these people work, seeing the things that they persevered, the things that they endured athletically. And then the people that I was around who were in business and industry were heavy hitters as well. So I was never in a position where I was able to make excuses. I was never in a position where I was able to settle. It was always give it 100% or you don't do it at all. And it was, my mom was, some people would say that she was tough. I'll never say that that's my best friend because that's my mom. You know what I mean? Like your best friend kind of brings your mom down a bit. But I consistently tell my mother, thank you for being the person that she was. I tell my stepfather, I tell my dad, I tell my stepmother, I tell them all, because without them and consistently pushing me and doing things that most parents today wouldn't do, I wouldn't be, not even close.
So what was it in, I guess in your whole makeup to have you kind of listen? Because a lot of folks have support and they just hard-headed and don't really listen. What was installed with you early to just listen?
I would say, I'll be honest with you, man, it was people who were doing the things that they said. It wasn't one of them things where I got somebody telling me, go out here and do this and do that, and then they're not doing it. It was, I saw my mom worked for NASA. So funny story. My mother was over every shuttle that ever went up. So if you look at, like, she knew Catherine Global, she knew all the women from Hidden Figures. My mom knew them. My mom was actually a computer for NASA. And I didn't understand growing up when my mom used to tell me she was a computer. I'm like, a computer's a box. You ain't no box. What's wrong with you? I didn't understand that it was another term for a mathematician, right? And so my mother was over all of that. And I remember watching her get up and drive from Orlando to the Space Center and back every day. Now, mind you, if I got in trouble, that means she had to leave work, drive an hour, tighten my ass up real smooth, like, and then drive an hour back to work and drive back home. So I knew I was gonna get it twice. You know what I mean? Like, so it was different. But watching these people, I mean, the pedigree of the people that I grew up around, it was so different. It was so different, and they also connected me to the understanding of who I was as a person, and that everything I did was a reflection on them. I think the biggest problem that you run into with Black people is from the time you first listen to anything, Black people are taught to hate themselves. It's in the music that you listen to, it's in the stuff that you watch on TV, it's even in the speech of our own people. We're taught to hate ourselves. And I didn't grow up in that environment. My parents they told me to embrace my Blackness. They told me that I remember my grandmother when I was a kid, I used to be loud and yelling and stuff like that. And I remember she grabbed me. You know how your grandma grabbed you on the inside of that inside meat, inside that bicep, that nice little tender spot. And she grabbed me and pinched me. I was like, what you doing? She was like, you understand that your voice is powerful. Yes. Everybody's not blessed enough to hear your voice. So when you take your voice and you allow people who are not supposed to hear it, you diminish your power. And so, like, I had stuff like that was taught to me when I was 5-6 years old. And so it was never like, shut up, you being loud. No, it's let me explain to you, why you don't need to be loud. What's the calling over your life, and so on and so forth. So it was a completely different scenario, man. Like, they were always teaching me deep lessons. It was never just because I said so type stuff.
And then, like you said, speaking life, right? The power of the word. They were speaking that life into you, man. That's
for sure.
That's what's up. So, okay, man, you definitely represent, man. It's not Orlando, it's Pine Hills, right? So you got to let me know.
Never Orlando, man. Never Orlando. It's always 4949 Silver Star Road, Pine Hills, Florida, all day long. Don't care. Nah, that's me. I mean,
absolutely.
It's important because them kids who are in that area need to know that somebody did it. And it's wild to think of. It's not a hot topic of discussion, but when you look at my high school, Daryl Dawkins went to my high school. His name's nowhere on that property. Nowhere. There's not a building named after him, gym floor not named after, nothing, which is ludicrous to me, right? But then you also look at, it's not the best person to name, but Brian McKnight went to that school. There's a whole host of great
Chris Johnson.
Yep. No.
He's not from the town,
he's from Orlando, but he went to Olympia.
High school?
Yeah, he went to Olympia High School. He didn't come out of Evans.
What high school did you Evans?
I went to Evans. Yeah. So our group was like Leon Searcy, Horace Copeland, Daryl Dawkins, Brian McKnight. There's a bunch of people who play in the league that definitely went to Evans. Yes. There's a lot of state senators. Camilla Brown, there's a lot of people in that area. No, I think Camilla went to Jones. Kia Council went to Evans. But there's a lot of people, man, who came up out of that area. And if you don't let these kids know that, they think that it's not possible. and you just got to show them. So that's why when I get on TV, I'm constantly repping Pine Hills, Florida, like every day, all day. That's just who I'm going to be.
There it is.
So I was going to ask about Daryl Dawkins, man. Like, I mean, that's the dude. I mean, he made the dunk. I mean,
they don't get it, man. They don't get it. I mean, Daryl Dawkins is one of my biggest sad stories, man. I missed him by 3 days. He died 3 days before I was supposed to see him, and like that was the one I wanted to see, and I just wanted to tell him thank you. If nothing else, just wanted to tell him thank you. But they don't have. And it's wild. I'll tell you, when I found out Daryl Dawkins went to Evans, remember back in the day when Mitchell and Ness did them throwback jerseys?
Yeah.
And they made that Evans throwback jersey, and we were like, yo, what is this? Like, is this Evans? Like this? And I was in school when they came out, but the colors were green and gold. And we were like, we're not green and gold, we green and white. We didn't know that the original colors of the school were green and gold. They changed it to green and white. Now it's green, black, and white. I was like, what? And that's how I found out that Daryl Dawkins went to my high school.
Wow.
All right, so tell us about sports in your high school, man. You were a high sport athlete, man. Like, how many patches did you have on that leather jacket, man?
Man, that's all I was trying to do, man. I was trying to get as many patches as possible.
Absolutely.
Man. When you ain't got no game, you gotta try to do something to get the attention, man. It's like, what's out here, man? Check your boy out. Come check out the game. They're like, we ain't gonna go see no volleyball. Girl, you better come see this volleyball, man. I'm out here balling. I'm the best thing they got out here, But it was cool, man. It was one of those things where, a lot of kids now, what they do is they really focus on one sport and they take the athleticism out of it. They take the, athlete IQ out of things. So for us, it was, your parents working, right? So you better find something to do. That's what your mama tell you. You better find something to do. You ain't gonna be at this house. So, it was, sports after sports after sports. That's what I ended up doing.
So go ahead, man.
No. Go ahead. I was going to talk about the track, the sprinting.
Yeah, I was there. So, me and MH, we do this a lot, man. So anybody that has track, then we got to ask. So we got to ask.
Oh, here we go. Come on with it. Come on with the track.
Go ahead, hit him, MH.
No, give me the events. What we running? What times you running with? What we doing?
So high school, I was a decathlete, and I went everywhere where they told me to go.
Wow.
I was really more of a relay specialist. I did not run fast in the open at all in high school. I think what shocked everybody must have been my junior, maybe my senior year, but I think it was my junior year. I split 20 point in a 4x2 out of nowhere, and they were like, "Where in the world is this?" And it was wild.
What leg though? What leg were you running?
Second or third. So I was running a true 2. I wasn't running like the where you could shorten it up.
Yeah.
Like, yo, where did this come? Like, I caught people. It was whoop, all that stuff, right? I was like, but the funny thing is, I couldn't sniff like 21.5 in the open. Like, something just happened, man. Like, I got that baton in my hand, and I changed into some other dude. Like, when we were running 4x1, I ran first leg, never got caught. Like, I eat people up. But then when I got to college, I got a lot faster. I ended up running 10.0 in the 100. It was one of those things. I think in high school, I was just spread thin between so many events. I never knew what I was going to do from week to week. I could, 100 meter, 4x1, long jump, triple jump. I could end up throwing the discus. I could do all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? I was all over the place. So it was whatever we needed to go get points to try to win this tournament and win these state championships. So that's more of what it was. Summer track, I was a decathlete in summer track. That was my big thing. Won some national championships in that, AAU. So I was doing all those things, got to college, went to FAM, or transferred to FAM, and I was like, hey, I ain't running no quarters no more. I ain't doing none of that. I'm running the 1 and the 2 and the 4x1. Started focusing, stopped jumping. I remember at one point I thought I was going to do a decathlon, and I came up against this kid named Kevin Hicks, and he was a freshman out of somewhere down south. And I'm like, man, I ain't worried about this freshman. Oh, they said, man, he the truth. I said, man, I don't care nothing about who this nigga is. He ain't nobody. And we had a time trial, and Ray Robinson was my coach. And I remember we ran the 800, and I think I was being punished. Is why I had to run the 800 in the time trial. I probably said something slick, you know what I mean, and really didn't care. And I was like, man, no high-head freshman gonna beat me. I don't care what distance it is. I'm gonna work him. I'll never forget. We came through. They had the clock out. This is the crazy part, bro. They had the clock out as time trial, and people would actually come to time trial. They had some chicks at time trial. I'm like, okay, I'm about to show out. I got running with Kevin in the first quarter of that 800. I'm grooving, bro. When I tell you this man came through in 51, I looked at the clock and saw we were at 51, and my soul exited my body. I got to the top of the curve on that back stretch. When I tell you I was all the way done, I was done. I had nothing left. And Ray out there, what do you think you're doing? I was like, Coach, he fast. He up on another level fast. I didn't even know. I'm sitting here thinking he about to come through in like, I don't know, 155, 157. Yeah. This joker ends up winning nationals his freshman year. He ends up winning USATF indoor nationals his freshman year. The boy was absolutely.
What was his time?
I think he ended up going 148, 149. Like he did that in November. He did that in November, and I'm sitting here like, yo,
as a freshman too, boy.
As a freshman, fresh out the gate, bro. So like, I try to tell people it's funny. My track career, I was always in the conversation, but I was never the topic of conversation. Like I raced people who were the topic of conversation. I mean, Justin Gatlin is still one of my good friends to this day. Absolutely the truth. You know, you look at Usain, absolutely the truth. People who a lot of people in track don't know about, but Brandon Christian, Johnny Mullins, Aaron Luster, all these dudes. I mean, if you think about track and field, it's such a unique sport because only 3 people are noted every year.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at the U.S. team right now, it's stacked. You know, you got Noah Lyles, you had Fred Curley, you had Kenny Benerick, but then, you know, you look at Arian Knighton, you look at King. I mean, you can go down the list of people, you know, that are absolutely blazing, and the times are only getting faster. Like it's ridiculous. But for me, man, track was my first love. It was something that I enjoyed doing. You know, you get out there, and it's the closest thing you can get to flying. But I miss it a little bit, but I also know at 230 pounds, it ain't gonna happen.
How long were you at track meets though? Because you lamed a lot of events. That means you're there from 7:30 to about 6.
Well, I mean, you know, if you on the track team, you ain't going nowhere. I don't understand this thing where people be like, "Oh, my event's over. I'm going home." If you on the team, man, you there all day. We show.
So they were there for the 4x4. Everybody stayed.
Where did you run, dude? Like,
they used to. I mean, I didn't run track. I ran track on the west side of the country in Colorado, so they might have did it different.
Don't get me wrong. This new track, these young kids do this too. Like I saw, I like assistant coaches at the middle school this past spring, and they was like, "Yeah, my event over. I'm going." I'm like, "You going where?" "Oh, my parents here to pick me up." "Your parent who? What?" Like I've never seen that before. Like this was the first time. Like you stayed. You stay the whole meet. You ain't going nowhere. If the meet started at 3 and it's over at 10, I guess we all over at 10. Like I had never witnessed that, especially in high school. Now, I mean, I guess it's a little different in summer track because that's more of an individual thing. But high school and college track, you there with the whole squad, like
for the meet, the entire
team. For the whole meet.
And if you're not there for the whole team, well, I mean, I'll see you on Monday and we're going to throw some hands. Like, I don't know who you think you are. Like, you ain't leaving.
Love it. So really quick, give us a little bit about kind of going to an HBCU, man, going to FAMU, right? Like that's, you know, the story of HBCU has been getting some light. You know, we've been having ups and downs with it, man. So definitely share that light about your experience there and why you ultimately kind of transferred there.
I mean, so I transferred there because I had no choice. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was reluctant to go to the HBCU. I mean, my parents, grandparents, all that. So, I mean, I've got a family history there. But I was trying to go anywhere else, and I ended up going there. And it was a eerie experience to know that you're walking the same grounds that so many great people walked. I remember my mom, it was crazy. Like, my mom said something to me, and I think I was messing up. I wasn't doing everything to the best of my ability. And have you ever been to FAMU? If you ain't never been to
campus.
Yeah, okay. I've just been on campus. Yeah, same.
Okay, so if you've been on campus, there's these stairs that you walk that are right by the track that lead to the library. I remember my mom yelled at me so bad, and she left me sitting on them steps, and she was like, "You sit here until you can hear your ancestors talk to you," and walked off.
Wow.
Oh yeah, my mom's a whole nother ball game, bro. Like,
that's different.
And I was like, "Huh?" And she was gone. I was like, "Where you going?" Goodbye. And I was like, okay, I mean, I guess I'm gonna sit on these steps there. And it's a unique experience to understand that you're on a place that so many amazing people have been. You know, it's a thing to think of that rich history that, you know, you're just immersed in all of those things and understand that you are a small piece to a greater puzzle. You know, if you go back to when it was FAMC, before it was FAMU, the fact that Black people had no other places to go. They could not be educated. And these were the places where the best of our best went. And then they went back and they uplifted other Black people. So it was something uniquely special to me. I think a lot of people don't truly get that part of it. They think that it's just, oh, it's just where we at, blah, blah, blah. And don't get me wrong, they're not always run the best. There's obviously, when money's involved, people are trying to do some foolishness, but at its root and at its real inception of what it was supposed to be, the HBCU experience is something that is more of a spiritual experience than an educational experience.
Oh, that's beautiful. Experience. I got to go back to this because we both football guys. And I read something about South Florida running back. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Stupid. That's what that was. That was stupid. That was absolutely dumb. That was not a smart decision on my end. I didn't play football in high school, so I shattered my arm from the elbow down in high school. I always wanted to play football, and my track coach, like, it was really bad how bad my arm was. And at one point, they were like, oh, if he does something to it again, because I messed up my nerve, they were like, oh, we're going to cut it off. I'm like, no, cut off my arm. What's wrong with y'all? No, my arm is it's not fully functional, but it's functional enough is the point. And my coach was always, because he lost me my sophomore season, and he was like, man, I need this rover out here gathering up these points. So he would never let me play football. My senior year, he let me on the team as a punter. And one play, I decided I was going to take off. I was like, man, I'm going for mine. And so that was my claim to fame in high school. But I really just wanted, it was wild, man. I was a punter with the number 90 with these big shoulder pads on. It was a terrible thing, but it was a chance to get the girls because I got to wear the jersey, you know? So then I go to college, and my brother Solomon, he convinced me, he had some problems going on with him and the coach because he was talking a bunch of trash to people. And I ended up trying out for the USF team, made the spring team. I decided to I didn't like being touched. I didn't want to get hit. I mean, I had never gotten hit before, and I got tired of getting hit in the slot. They moved me to running back for some god-awful reason, probably punishment as well. And Dum decides they run a counter play, but I didn't know the guard was supposed to pull, so I ran in the hole first, and that was the end of it. That was about how my whole career of football collegiately was over. I broke my shit. I was like, yo, my fib is gone, bro. I was like, my track coach was like, what are you doing? I was playing football. He's like, why are you playing football? I was like, I thought it'd be a good idea. And so, and it was funny, but after that, I actually had a bunch of tryouts, man. And because I was fast, I was super, super fast. So I was hand time, I think I was 4.1 in the 40. I was stupid fast. So, but I mean, I just had no football IQ. I was like, I'm out here running for dear life, right? And it never worked out well for me. I'm gonna be honest with you. And it was funny. Like I said, I was always a part of a conversation, but I was never the conversation. Like, they was like, yo, this dude is fast. And I remember when I was at USF, I ended up accidentally running over this guy, J.R. Reed, who was he played for the Eagles. He was a phenomenal DB. And I got lucky and ran him over. But what actually happened was I was scared as hell. I was trying to ball up, and I got underneath him, and I ended up running. Everybody was like, oh! I was like, no, that's not what happened. That's not it. That's not what happened. No. Can we go backwards? Please? That's not what I was trying to do. And so, yeah, then after that, I got lit up, bro. They was laying my ass out. I was like, no. So, I mean, but it was a cool experience. I mean, I've always had, in every sport I played, even in baseball and all this other stuff, it was always a lot of potential, and I never felt cheated. Like, if I look at life, man, I go back at life, I never got cheated. I found myself in some interesting predicaments that I honestly had no business being in, just to be upfront with you. But it was always fun, man. I just followed wherever, the path was led. I always kept myself open to every opportunity, and that was it.
Love it. All right, man. So we're going to move forward, man. We're going to jump into the career, man. So you started into golf around, was it your senior year, like right after you graduate, like fully dedicating, or like when did the golf journey, and there's a laugh, so we got some laugh behind this. When did it start?
It was, wow, my senior year at FAM. I hadn't played golf before that. My dad tried to get me to play golf. I was like, this is white. The clothes is whack. I hate the people. You got to be quiet.
It's too long. What are we doing?
And my senior year at FAM, man, somebody bet me I wasn't athletic enough to hit a golf ball. Went and tried to get the club rebuilt. My cousin was like, hey, I ended up going to this tournament. And from there, man, honestly, my whole transition to golf was nothing more than divine intervention. It had nothing to do with me. I ended up going to a school, Life University, because this girl I was talking to at the time, I mean, it was a whole bunch of stuff that, honestly, man, if I made a movie out of this, I couldn't put none of this together. I'm gonna be real with you, 100%. Like, it don't make no sense. The girl she left her books in class. I didn't want to go to class. She was like, "Oh, you gonna leave me here like this?" I was like, "Yep." But I ended up going to class. They gave me some money to go to chiropractic school. Went to chiropractic school. Got kicked out of chiropractic school. Chiropractic school ended up paying for me to go do long drive. I was sleeping in my car, but I'd also be on the damn plane to Spain at the end of the week with no place to stay and all. I mean, it was some wild stuff, bro. It was crazy. But yeah, golf came out of absolute nowhere. It makes zero sense. I mean, none. Even people I talk to now who hadn't seen me in the winning, they were like, yeah, bro, we saw this black dude talking about Pine Hills and golf, and we knew the name, but
that ain't who that
is. Like, what? Like, nah. It was like, it looked like you, but we was like, nah. Like,
who this?
Bruh, it is the wildest thing ever, bro. And it's like, you never know what God has in store in your life. And I tell people all the time, like, the adversity and the struggles that you go through day to day are really setting you up for something major later on if you live long enough. I mean, like, my grandmother I used to get mad at my grandmother. My grandmother hit you with that old thing. She's like, baby, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Grandma, shut up. That's stupid. That is dumb. I don't want to hear that. Grandma, I ain't got no food to eat right now. You gonna tell me this is the day the Lord has made? You know what? Tell the Lord to give me a biscuit. Tell him. How about that? Tell him to put some money in my pocket. Tell him to put some gas in my car. I'll tell the Lord this is the day the Lord. But when you really think about it, bro, like, we always look forward in life, but not understanding that every day you wake up, God's giving you everything you need to tackle that particular day. Now, you don't know about tomorrow. You don't have a damn clue what tomorrow gonna bring. But you got everything that you need in that day. And if you focus on doing the best of your ability, don't sell yourself short in the midst of that day, tomorrow will take care of itself by the time you wake up. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, my golf life is, I don't know.
And I've seen you say that your golf life is like bittersweet, right? Like, so it's definitely those ups and downs through the journey. So you kind of hint on it.
White people. That's the not all, but a lot.
Well, since you said that, I'm gonna jump into that, right? So let's talk about, you work with, and what is it, Scratch? I don't know if that's the
Scratch
media company,
PGA Tour source, media source. Yep,
media source. Yep. And you had a chance to do of course, a Black History documentary, which was great, right? So, how do you feel about being able to do that, right? And its importance, but like not only doing it that month, right? So there's a twofold question, man. Just so tell the listeners, what that piece was about and what that meant to you. And then, the backside of it, where your post says, I see a lot of other golfers posted during Women's History Month, but so gotta just share that evolution.
So in golf, man, nobody has ever truly recognized black people. Everybody used Tiger Woods' sorry ass as an excuse. I hate that nigga for real. I really do. I fucking hate Tiger, man. I don't know if I can say that on this show, but I hate him.
It's done.
Absolutely hate him 110%. Because he gives white people an excuse, right? The first thing they say is, oh, well, one of the best golfers in the world is black. I'm like, no, black is a culture. It's not a color. I know more white people that are blacker than Tiger, which sounds very crazy to say. But when you look at it, Tiger denounced himself from black people when he was on Oprah and called himself Coblin Asian. Quote, I'm America's boy.
He did say combination.
For real? This is what you're doing?
Right.
And if I look at all of the things that he's done, when Charlie Sifford got inducted to the Hall of Fame, Tiger sent a tired video message. Bro, all that money he had at that time, I don't care what tournament you in, you take a private jet, you go there, and you show up. The big thing is showing up, being present, not sending a video message, you being there in the flesh and in the skin. I don't care what you got going on, because that's a once-in-a-lifetime moment. And you got to show these white people that man was worthy of you showing up. Mm-hmm. And then you fly back, and if you eat shit that tournament, who cares? No one cares. But you show up for that man. If you look at any of the companies, Tiger's had a royalty or ownership stake in TaylorMade. TaylorMade ain't never recognized Black History Month. Did you all know that TaylorMade actually has signed Schoolboy Q and Scarface for the last 10 years? No, that's Callaway. Callaway has.
Either way, didn't know.
Either or.
Callaway has both of them. TaylorMade had leeelder. They had all. Man, they don't. My thing is this: even if Black History Month, all they did was put the picture up of Tiger, that would have worked. I mean, not really, but it would at least
something, right?
Something. But they so scared. Like everybody's scared to say anything about, because we're gonna piss off the good white people. Man, the hell with them. I don't care. So I challenge people all the time. Like the thing with Scratch was cool because I challenged them. I asked them, I said, so what y'all gonna do? Like y'all working with me, but I'm not the only one out here. And because if you're gonna tell me that you're trying to effectively grow the game, then you gotta show black kids that they got people that look like them. And then on top of that, you gotta honor the people who paved the way. Like Althea Gibson, I can go down the list of these people that did stuff and that's dead in their grave, and you're not even gonna mention their name. Like that doesn't make sense. And what happens is over the generations, these people will become lost. They will become just shadows and dust. They won't even reign high anymore. And that part to me is absolutely absurd. If I look at Golf Channel play the same tired stuff every Black History Month. And then on top of that, the better thing that people like to do when they're discussing us is diversity and inclusion. Now, for the life of me, I don't understand that term in its entirety, because I'm still trying to figure out how a man get choked out on film calling for his dead mama, which is a scary thing, because that lets me know that he knew that nobody on this earth was going to help him, and he was asking for some spiritual intervention in his situation. And the people who win out of this situation is white women. I'm so lost. The winners of diversity and inclusion, the winners of George Floyd, are white women. There are more white women C-suite executives than black and brown men and women combined. And I'm trying to figure out, where is the diversity and the inclusion? Oh, well, we weren't treated properly. You was in the same house with the master. Not my fault. We was outside. We wasn't even in the house. So he was good enough then, but now you want to go and be the victim. Oh, they weren't treating us fairly. They weren't giving us our just proper due. Y'all wasn't outside getting y'all ass beat.
And that's the scapegoat for it. That's definitely the scapegoat for it.
Right. And so it is mind-boggling to me how everything that happens to black people, we never win off of it. We're always the catalyst for a movement, but we always the last people at the damn table. And every time they see us it's always in a mode of quote unquote handout. When you talk to people about diversity and inclusion, they look at it like affirmative action. So they never see Black people in positions of power ever. So a big part of diversity and inclusion isn't just giving Black people equal, and we use that in real big quotes, equal opportunity, but it's also getting white people to understand that Black excellence and Black power exist, and you better respect it. Because what happens? You get a Black person as some sort of manager, supervisor, anything like that. Oh, you know, they're a D and I hire, so they don't know what the hell they're dealing with. They don't know what they're doing.
And undercuts the talent and the greatness.
Exactly. And so that's one of the big things that I'm huge on, is making sure that they understand that there is truly Black excellence out there. Not this fluff and quote unquote crafted excellence, real Black excellence out there. So I'm always going to showcase that. I mean, I've talked to Golf Digest for years about doing a Black History Month edition where they talk about the renaissance of Black golf, but don't nobody want to talk about that. Now, the crazier thing is people want to put DJ Khaled's sorry ass on the cover of of Golf Digest. Number one, he ain't Black. We're going to start with that. He ain't Black. Number two, everything he do on the golf course is wrong. He out there wrong as hell, loud as hell, doing what he want to do. But the thing about it is, for them, it makes sense.
He's portraying that image of what they want.
That's the image they want to see. Now, what they won't show is they won't show a Chase Johnson. They won't show a Quinn Riley. They won't show a Willie Mack. They won't show a Marcus Bird. They won't show any of these brothers because all these brothers are educated and they go out there and they ball out. They won't show Nash. There's so many Black people that have done amazing things in this game that they won't talk to. And they won't
talk. These HBCUs that are growing their programs and having kids shine and go. Don't want to talk about that, huh? Don't do that.
I'm be honest with you. Most of these HBCUs suck. Now, Greg Oldham, EJ Witten, Styles, there are a few great players, but the vast majority of these programs, if you put them up against white programs, it's going to be trouble. Don't do
so
it.
So does that go to the funding and the resources that they have? Or is it just the talent level? Because like it's, you know, if you talk about the PWIs right now, they're talking about giving money or, you know, it's a pay-per-play. So once you get into that pay-per-play kind of situation, are the have-nots getting further away?
No, they just suck. I'm be honest with you. Like, so the problem that you have in life in 2024 is a lot of people have inflated value, right, of self. Everybody wants, not everybody, a lot of people want to tell you that they need the best of the best, but they ain't done anything to be the best of the best. I'm sitting here listening to some of these colleges say, hey, man, we need to get a sprinter van. I'm like, y'all ain't all conference, first of all, you're not all conference. Second of all, you're not all American. When you start getting those two, we can start talking about a sprinter van. But if you're not that, then that's like a chick telling you on the first date, oh, you know, we ain't going to Cheesecake Factory. I'm not sure I want to invest all this money in you right now. You don't get wife privileges when you just some chick I met off the street. That's not it. You got to put in the work. That's
funny. Let me ask you this, and because you're in the long drive, you know how like they'll sometimes they'll discredit LeBron. All he does is dunk. They discredit Lamar. All he is just run fast and he's a scrambling quarterback. They always try to discredit us as part of the game as he just hits the ball far. You know what I mean? On your way to the top, did you hear some of those? That chatter too?
I mean, I hear that still even to this day. And I tell them, ask your mama who her favorite golfer is. It's probably me. So don't bother me. They can say what they want about me. I'm like, I got 50-something reasons why I'm better than you. You know, that's what it boiled down to. I mean, I don't really pay attention to all of that. I know that there's a good and bad about being Black in this sport. You know, if you look at the Ric Flair clip, if I was a white boy, it doesn't go viral. And that's just harsh reality of the situation. But also, I also understand that on the Black side of it, there are a lot of people who are going to question. And the only thing I can do is be consistent. You know, if I'm the same guy all the time, then nothing else matters. It doesn't change who I am, they're questioning. And I'm not looking for the validation. Now, at one point early in my career, I wanted the validation. I wanted people to know who I was and all this other stuff. And the pats on the back, The older you get, you be like, I am who I am. Like me, love me, hate me. Either way, I'm gonna still be me, and I don't care. So as you start to understand that part of it, I think the doubt and the criticism weighs less, honestly.
Now, what about like when they attempt to discredit you, though, right? So let's talk about the Niagara Falls thing, right? Like, they had the whole setup, it's on video, and then the naysayers came like, oh, he never really hit it over there. Like and it took us so long to get it done. And then of course you got the vindication. Took it 5 years to get
I never
the
really got the vindication. The vindication
really?
Place no, so golf media still acts like that doesn't exist, which is fine. But for me, it was more about my parents being alive and sound mind and sound body, and understanding that it started with, on my mom's side, a janitor and a maid. On my dad's side, sharecroppers. And so the rest of it, it don't matter to me. Like I tell people in every interview I've done, they bleep it out a lot, but I always tell people I'm one of the answered prayers of the slaves that were beaten, raped, and murdered in the fields. And so to me, everything that I accomplish is about them. It's not about me. It's not about people today saying, oh, hey, we appreciate what you're doing, or we don't think you did. Honestly, I don't care. I mean, I really, really don't care, because there's nothing I can do. People who don't like you or people who want to hate on you, they always gonna hate on you, brother. There's nothing you can do to change their opinion. There's nothing you can do. So why waste your time?
No,
just be on the right side of history. There was a lot of people who think that, we should still be in chains. There's a lot of people who have that thought process. But you're never going to get, not being funny and not being political, but you're never going to get Trumpsters to change who they are. So why talk to them about 100%. That? Now, there's some other things that you could talk to people about, but you just let it go. Because all the energy and effort you put into trying to change them, even if you do change them, it is never going to be fulfilling for the energy that you put in. I remember this one dude earlier in my career, a guy named Steve McGann, bro. I will never forget this. He was on social media rapping hard, nigga this, you nigga that, you and your nigga ass parents. This on social, like he out here. I remember talking to the Long Drive Federation and Association. I was like, hey man, he out here. They was like, oh, well, it's freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. You can call people niggas. Okay, cool. And I remember I never got in the same section as him in a match where I could get him head to head.
Yeah.
It took about 3 years. And even in the tournaments where we weren't head to head, he would finish higher than me, or if I finished higher than him, I didn't feel like it was the same because I never saw him head to head. It took like 3 years. And I remember seeing him in Mesquite, and his wife and kid was there. And I always remembered the fact that, it's freedom of speech. I said, all right, this what's up. You brought my parents into this. I remember walking up after I saw him. Well, we weren't in the same group in the first round, but I hit the ball further than him. He was like, it don't mean nothing. I still got something for your nigga ass. I was like, man, I'm about to put my hands on you, but okay. That's all right. That's what's up.
This is in competition.
I'm dead ass. And I had already been suspended twice at this point, so I ain't putting my hands on nobody no more at this point. I'm like, I just got to eat this shit. Because I punched some dude. Yeah, this dude called my mom a bitch like early in my career. I put my hands on him. Like I messed his ass up. So I got suspended. And then he said something slick again. I hit him again, and I got suspended again. So I'm like, I'm not getting suspended a third time because I might get kicked out. So I was like, all right. And I remember I saw him like probably about 15, 20 minutes later, we had a head-to-head match. I beat the dude by 30. And I remember walking back, and his wife and kid was sitting right behind the tee box. I walked up to the little dude. I was like, hey, little guy, is that your dad? Yeah. It's like, you know what? When you grow up, you can be a loser just like your daddy. You wait and see. And like everybody's like, yo, my man. I was like, dog, you talk about my parents, man. Anything's possible. I don't care. Like we out here. I saw, and then you fast forward about 4 years later, we're on the tee box in Tennessee. And I don't know if you've ever seen golf, but they always do introductions on the first time that you go to the box. They say whatever your accomplishments are. So at that point, they go up and they're like, and everybody knew that he and I were head to head in that competition. This is the first time in 4 years we were head to head ever.
Okay.
And so everybody was expecting some drama or some foolishness or whatever. And we're on the tee box, and they introduced me, and they're like, 2015 European long drive champion, 2016 European Tour long drive champion, 2017 U.S. long drive tour champion. They start going down the list of my stuff. They're going kind of like that clip where Tiger, they kept going down his list and feels like, all right, we get it, right? And they say about 7 or 8 things about my list. And then they go to him, and they're like, and Steve McGann, he's been in this tournament the last 12 years. And I just started laughing. And I realized, I said, man, this whole time I was fighting a nobody.
Yeah, he's trying to make his name off of you.
I'm like, and it's not even about him making his name off of me. It was like, he was so bitter about the things he never accomplished. And so the only thing he could do was try to derail me off my path. And for a little bit, he did. You know what I mean? I go to tournaments, I'd be focused on him. I'm not even paying attention to what I'm doing. And so when you realize that part of it, you don't even care no more, bro. Like, you just be like, hey, I'm going to keep my head down, move, I'm going to do things to the best of my ability, and the rest of it is what it is.
Yeah.
And then the funny thing, well, the sad thing is, I think it was 2018, maybe 2019, he dies. Buddy ends up dying, and the organization of Long Drive never said anything about him. Now, some of the players that won the tournaments wore a ribbon. They were like, hey, we want to give you a ribbon. I was like, man, fuck that ribbon. I ain't putting up no ribbon. I ain't wearing no ribbon for this motherfucker. But at World Championships, because it had to be 2019, I was the reigning world champion. And I remember walking out and making sure that they had a moment of memory for him, which made it come back full circle, because I didn't like the dude at all. But I also understood that he loved the sport, he was a part of the sport, and he deserved that bit of acknowledgement. And I know at the end of the day, they would have never did that for me had I checked out. They would be like, yep, we glad he gone, and kept it moving. But when you know better, you do better, right?
That's it.
That's big of you, man.
So,
So how is it, when you kind of gotten, like, during the career, you were saying that there's some people that gave you some really deep encouragement, man, to be a part of the game. And, like, back, like, sitting on the steps, listen to your ancestors and fam, like, to have it from the people that paved the way live and direct to tell you, like, and hit you with that grandmother grab and say, no, listen to what I'm saying. How has that inspiration carried you? And then, there was two conversations I want you to share with people. But the other is just saying, like, hey, you're the champion now. It just begins for what you need to get back. So how do those kind of conversations, how do you reflect on or keep those as you go along?
Man, I'm so grounded just from the standpoint that every morning when I wake up, I spend 20 minutes and I still do what my mom said. I still wait for the ancestors to talk to me every morning. So, like, I know y'all look at my stuff on social, the stuff that I post, and, it's always some quote or something like that. And it's always something that comes out of my talk with the ancestors every morning. It's never anything that I write. If I'm not, and you've seen it, I'll sometimes post, I ain't got nothing for y'all today, because I couldn't hear them. When I can hear them, I give people that word. And when I can't, I don't fake it. It's not any enlightenment that I have. It's not me, it's them. And I make sure that I keep that connection, because I understand that at some point I'm going to be gone, and hopefully somebody will listen to me when I'm on the other side talking to them about the information and the trials and tribulations that they're going to have to go through. And then, as far as golf, man, Calvin Peete completely changed my life as an individual. And understanding, I think the key to it is being in the moment. Sometimes we have this new phrase when adversity hits, life be lifing. And I'm like, you minimize the power of adversity. You minimize the power of being shaped and molded when you generalize it by saying life is just lifing. We're always stuck on this thought process of getting what we want, not understanding that what we need is right there in front of us so many times. And in that moment with Mr. Peete, it completely, even still to this day, I can never give up golf, because I promised him I wouldn't give up, no matter how frustrating it is, no matter how much the people in this industry piss me off. You can't cancel a promise to a dead person, because you can't talk to them. You can't give them no excuse. You can't tell them, hey, it got too tough. You know, I wasn't strong enough because clearly they see something. And I think the bigger thing is understanding when you're around great people see greatness in other people. And if they don't, they just shut up. I've got a lot of people that I know that have been around amazing athletes who never sponsored them, never put $1 behind them, but they'd always go play hit and giggle golf with them. They'd always kick it with them, but they'd never say, hey, I believe in you enough to put some bread behind you in the tournament. And my coach was the first person to make me understand how important it is, which is why I think the other day I put up, show me where you spend your money and I'll show you where your heart's at. You know, people put their money behind things that they care about, and nobody's just throwing money away like that. And so having that understanding of what, I guess, the responsibility, you know, as being a champion, it just started because there was nobody who spoke for us. My whole way up, I had no Black people that were really helping me like that. I had 3. A lot of my help came from white people. Ironically, Black folks was always trying to minimalize me, and they still do it to this day because I make myself so easily accessible to my people because I don't want them to feel like I'm somebody in some stratosphere that they can't talk to, that they can't use as a reference, that they can't get that information from. You know, I mean, I think for us, so many times we get familiar and we forget the reverence part of the people that we're around. I mean, I play golf with Vince Carter all the time. And at no point would I be like, oh, nigga, that's just Vince. No, nigga, that ain't just Vince. You know, I'm with my Uncle Julius all the time. And it ain't like, oh, nigga, that's just Dr. J. No, nigga, that ain't just Dr. J. Like, you got to understand the people that you're around and the significance that they have in your life. And you don't minimalize them by just being like, oh, that's just such and such. It's kind of like when I talk to people and they be like, oh, you still doing that little golf thing?
That little, right? To put that on there.
That little golf thing? Okay, that's what's up, homie. Like, I'm glad to see that that's what you feel about it, you know? And it's funny. My mom is my constant reminder of everything. Like, she is always it. My dad is the same. Like, my parents are awesome. I mean, I honestly can say that. My parents are, I have 4 people in my life that are amazingly awesome. I remember one day I was in like this terrible depression, and my mom was like, she wrote me this note, and it said at the time, 45 wins, 5 of 7 continents, 3 Guinness World Records, and something. She just started listing all this stuff. And I was like, huh? And she said, you know what the most amazing fact is? I was like, what, Ma? What is the most amazing fact? And at that point, yeah, I hit the ball across Niagara at that point. And she was like, in the history of golf, there have been 2 Black people professionally that have been ranked number 1 in the world. And she was like, I'd even go as far as saying in any sector of golf, ranked number 1 in the world. She was like, it's you and Tiger Woods.
Let's go.
And I was like, okay. She was like, so you can't give up. She's like, and she'll text me all the time. The first person through the door gets the bullets.
And
that's what comes to me.
And that's it. And moms have those wisdom, but that's a mom wisdom right there.
So I mean, my mom comes through. My dad, the same thing. But these are people who were always the first. You know, my parents were the first at everything that they did. So the conversation of it takes one to know one is real.
Absolutely. All right, man. So we got to jump into those quick hits. You ready?
Yes, sir. Maurice,
all right, quick hits. Here we go.
Just some this or that questions. Let our folks know you a little better, man. Text or call?
Text, because I'm always on the golf course. But I prefer the call because I think I like talking to people.
Pancakes or waffle?
I'm gonna go with waffles because I like Waffle House.
Hell yeah. Apple or Android?
As long as that damn thing turn on and I can call, I don't care what the hell it is.
Early bird gets the worm or late night grind?
Sleep is for poor people.
Breakfast or dinner?
As long as I'm hungry, I'm eating. I don't care what it is.
Kevin Hart, Cat Williams?
Corey Holcomb.
Oh yeah, we gotta snip that. We gotta snip that, EJ.
Okay, for sure.
Hero or villains?
Both.
Players.
Because here's the thing: a villain normally turns out to be the hero later on. It's just when your perception changes.
I love it. Play it safe and go into overtime, or risk it and winning it in regulation.
I'm throwing my dick on the crap table and see what happens.
I feel it. One track that never gets old.
Too many to name. Too many to name. But let's see. Man, Concrete Jungle, Bob Marley.
Rocky movies or Creed movies?
Creed, what the hell's wrong with you?
I wanted to get into your training. You was talking about your Rocky training?
Man, Creed. What's wrong with you, man? One time for Carl, man. God, you gonna ask me about Rocky?
I said, that's fair. That's good. I'm all good.
That's like who? That's like saying Love Jones or The Notebook. Nigga, what?
Well, you want to hit him with the oldie but goodie, MH, with the movie since he said that?
Oh, since you said that, yeah. The Wood or Love and Basketball?
Ooh, Mahogany.
On, this man.
Come on.
This man.
Hey, bro, I'm gonna hit you with. Hey, I'm like to the day I die,
shit.
brother. But man, Love Jones all day, man. Come on, Darius Love Hall. Say, baby, I'll be your slave. What, man? That's the best pickup line ever, man. It'll never get better than that. You gotta be kidding me.
All right, man. Let's
hey, clip that, man.
I'm
gonna be out there. Can I play something for you? Well, the last time you played something for me, you embarrassed the hell out of me.
Clip that. That's funny.
All right. Winner's Circle, man. So we want to just talk about just some of the things you do, man. Definitely big give back, right? Like I wanted to start with that because it's a lot, like you said, show what you invest in, you know what I mean? Like the people you invest in, and like you take your winnings, and not even your winnings, just the way you invest in all these kids and the scholarships and just you being an ambassador for, I think, was it the Boys and Girls?
Yeah, Boys and Girls Club and American Cancer Society.
So two really big organizations that do different things, but just for you to stand up in the community, man. Why those two in particularly?
So Boys and Girls Club, I was a Boys and Girls Club kid. And I was Youth of the Year in the state of Florida back in 1999. American Cancer Society, two really close people, my aunts, died pretty much a year and a day apart, my first 2 years. So that's why you always see me with all the pink on. That's a way of me remembering them. And, I think as far as the give back portion, like I say, show me where you spend your money, show me where your heart's at. But my thing is, I can't always go to people asking for help. And the first thing they're going to say is, well, what have you done? If it means that much to you, what have you put into the situation? And unfortunately, a lot of times as Black people, when we go places, the people who actually end up helping us out and helping our communities are white people. Black people don't, for some reason, feel the need to sow into their own community. They think that it's better to do something else. We would rather support fashion houses that don't have anything to do with us. Gucci, Fendi, all that other stuff. And because we think that gives us a status symbol to feel better and superior to other people that look like us. And for me, that's just not the case. I'd rather spend my money on my people and enrich my people and have them understand and believe that anything's possible.
Absolutely. So get a little bit about the 360. Where did that come from? Your company, the 360. Like, just a big smile. I love to hear this. How'd you get started, and why is that big to you?
It's big to me. 360 originated because it's kind of like, MH was saying, people are going to doubt you, right? So for me, I was always telling people I was more than a golfer. And that's where 360 was just all about being full circle. So embodying being a good human being from a community standpoint as an individual, so on and so forth. So we do all kinds of stuff, man. Actually, we're just starting up a program, Giving Grace Project. We did it the last couple of years where we give away sleeping bags to the homeless. Like I told you guys, I was sleeping in my car. So
yeah, so hopefully what we talked about didn't happen to our fans. So we're gonna just pull it together really. Yep. So back online. So what were you saying though?
So it really was one of those things where I wanted to be full circle. We started the Grace Project, as I said, because I was homeless, right? And so people asked me, what did I want for my birthday? And one of the things is I was like, man, I don't need nothing, don't want nothing. And I was like, you know what? I set up a registry and I just had people buy sleeping bags. And it took me and my kids, got a U-Haul, and we went out and handed sleeping bags to the homeless. And was like, hey, just walked up to random people. Hey, man, you need a sleeping bag. And we gave them a sleeping bag. And now we're going to do 8 cities this year. I still don't know how I'm going to pull this off. We're going to be in Atlanta, Orlando, Detroit, Nashville, Dallas, Colorado Springs, Phoenix. And then I just had a conversation this morning about adding Hawaii to it, which is wild, man. But you know, that'd be 2,400 sleeping bags this year that we'll give away. And it's kind of a pilot that I just want people to think about others. Like, you know, we're constantly buying stuff we don't need. We're constantly trying to get the new, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, man, there's people out there who really could use a little bit of help. I mean, you can't save the world, but there are things you can do just to show people that they're not out there by themselves. So that's one of the things we do. We do scholarships. We've got a big thing going on this year in the Hilton Grand Vacation, which is the LPGA Tournament of Champions, which has a celebrity side to it, kind of like the Tahoe event. So this year it's going to be great because this is the first time I'll actually be playing in the tournament during Black History Month. So y'all already know I'm about to be nigga shit all long. When
I said black, y'all. I said black, y'all. I said black and then black.
No. Bro, when I tell you it's to a whole, like I'm in a conversation with Adidas about having a limited release Black History Month shoe for that golf event that I'll actually be rocking, and there may be 150 pair or whatever we do. And I'm trying to apply the pressure with them on that. I got a Black History Month golf bag that I'll be carrying. I got Black Lives Matter golf shafts. I got all kinds of stuff. It's going to be out of control. And y'all better hope to God I don't play well. Because when I get on TV and, boy, don't let your boy win, I'm going to be like, the slaves is happy. They'll be like, oh, my God, go to commercial. It's going to be out of control. But, man, it's all about embracing the blackness, man. And the fact that it's the first time I can do it in competition in my whole career that I competed in February. That's pretty dope.
That's be amazing. So how can we follow you? This is for our listeners, so please say audio. We're going to put all of this, of course, in the show notes. But just where we can follow you: Instagram, LinkedIn, website. Where can the people follow you?
I mean, I guess you can follow me on LinkedIn. I guess if that's what you want to do professionally. But Maurice Allen 360 on all platforms. mauriceallen360.com. If you're ever looking, believe it or not, man, if people are looking for a keynote speaker, if people are looking for people to come and talk at either universities or anything like that, you know, give your boy a shout. I'll come in and I keep it real with them. I don't do this whole everybody's great, you're great, we're great, because some people need to know that they suck, and that's okay. That's a great part of growth. Never happens without acceptance, and that's just honest. So you have to accept sometimes that you need to be better. And you know, this whole being your best self, and well, I don't know. I don't understand all this therapy talk, bro. I'm old school. I don't get none of it. I'm keeping 100 with you. You know,
you're in the schoolhouse.
I'm sitting in the schoolhouse, my boy. I'm in the schoolhouse. You know, this being my best self, and this whole thing where people say, "Oh, I know my truth." I'm like, the moment the person tells me they know their truth, I'm like, you know, the truth ain't possessive, right? Understand that, like, that's your perception, but it's not your truth. But I mean, you know, if that's what y'all want to rock with, young dumb, that's fine with me.
Young dumb, I love it. All right, man. So this is where we kind of give you a chance to put your coaching hat on. We call this portion of the show the assist. So
okay.
This is where you kind of give, a coaching gym. And if anybody follows you out there, man, they definitely see that. And I'm glad you shared how that comes from the ancestors. But for today's show, man, just kind of putting that bow on it. What is kind of a coaching gym? It could be a quote, a word you live by, or something you would tell your younger self that you want to share with the listeners.
Oh, man. Stay far from timid. Make moves only when your heart's in it. Live the phrase, sky's the limit.
by our true laureate, Biggie.
I mean, it's the realest thing I've ever heard in my life, man. You got to understand that, man. If being authentic is a word people use, the phrase people use today, there's so many people that shapeshift, they change, and they say, well, I'm going to get back to this. And you never make it back. You know, you have to understand people are going to like you for who you are or they're not. No matter how much you shapeshift, no matter how much you change or you're quote unquote strategic and all this other stuff, they ain't never going to respect you because you're not being you. And if you can't be 100 with it the whole way, then you just don't need to do it. It doesn't mean that road is going to be, the road to change is difficult. And understand that road is filled with nothing but thorns. But if you make it through that road, you never sold your soul. You can always look back at it and say what you accomplished. And most importantly, the people are going to respect you for going through that road. I got a lot of white folks that respect me because they know when I walk in the door, I'm not turning over and be like, oh, you know, I'm just so happy to be here. You look at this influencer market that's out there. A lot of these black folks, they black when there's money to be made. They're not black all the time. They don't stand for black issues. I gave more than 250 pair of shoes away this year alone. And when I tell you, and these the black folks, I got 2 thank yous. Two personal thank yous. And these people, I saw one girl today, saw her in my face. She ain't say nothing about the shoes. Hey, how you doing? What up? I got to say nothing. I ain't got gratitude, brother. Like, it's different. Like, if you understand, and it don't hurt my feelings that they don't say thank you. It just lets me know that they weren't raised right.
And that's not why you did it. It wasn't for that thank you.
That's not why I did it.
That's not your blessings on somewhere else. I love it.
Well, understand this. Hold on. Don't do that either, though. Don't understand. When you give something, don't ever tell people that, oh, well, because you gave, you're going to be blessed. You were able to give because the blessings you already have.
100%. And
definitely
wasn't said. Yeah. So don't get that twisted. I'm saying that your blessing is not within getting a thank you from someone. Let's be clear. 100%. That's the only thing that I was saying.
I'm blessed that I get to talk on this show with y'all brothers, man.
But man, thoroughly enjoyed it. Blessing. All right, man. MH, final thoughts?
No, we blessed for having you on the show, man. And we've been doing this show for 5 years now, man. And I don't think we lose perspective and reverence for who's on the show, man. So we want to give you your flowers, salute you, congratulate you, man. We are among greatness. So we appreciate you being on with us today, bro.
Hey, man, I appreciate it, man. We're going to get you a copy of the notebook and send it to you so you can go.
Come on, dog.
You know, that's what he out here watching. He out here watching, you know what I'm saying? He out here watching Anchorman. You know what I mean? It's okay though, man. It's all good.
Send me a copy, bro. Send me a copy. Send me a copy, bro.
I appreciate it, man. Oh, man. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. What you got
to tell you, man?
Talk to me.
I know you was talking about Niagara. They done ripped the plaque off the bench. It's gone. Already.
Are you serious?
As a heart attack.
I saw that they said it was illegal. Illegal. What's all that about?
So, I will be the only person in the history of the world to ever hit a golf ball across Niagara, because now it is illegal to hit a golf ball across Niagara, because if you don't hit the first ball over, they see it as pollution. And secondly, you can't fly a drone over Niagara Falls anymore because they have a drone ordinance. So you can't video it either.
Wow.
So yeah, there's a lot of people upset about that, which is probably why the plaque was ripped off the bench. It was crowbarred out, and we're still working on getting that fixed. Hopefully it'll turn into something where they put something like similar to a headstone in the ground, in the grass behind it, where somebody can't rip it out. But it is what it is.
All right, man, just keep fighting, man. This is crazy. Definitely got to get you on our live show, by the way. We got to figure some time. We do a live every month, so we want to get you on the live show. Definitely want that. But
man, y'all come to the event in January in Orlando, man. We do a live from one night after the tournament, man. We can do that. We can plan for that.
Let's do that. And then figure out too also if we can do the February one. Then I definitely want to be on deck for that.
No, that's the same event. Yeah.
Oh, that's the same. Oh, okay, it goes into the.
So yep, going into that. So it's January 30th, 31st, and then February 1st and 2nd. So we'll
definitely figure that
out. When
full effect.
when you giving sleeping bags in Colorado Springs?
So we're giving sleeping bags. I'm trying to figure. So the problem is I have to show up to 8 places. I have to go from city to city every day. So I've got to figure out how this works. I don't even know. I'm be honest with you. I'm trying to figure it out. And I'm getting calls like people like, man, we want to do this. We want to do this. I'm like, okay. So I'm still in the process of setting it up, but it's between the 13th of November. It's like the week before Thanksgiving is when we do that. And then because we start here, we'll go to all the cities. It's wild because I do a turkey drive too, where we give away 300 turkeys in Orlando. So I gotta figure out how all this is gonna look. Because I honestly, man, I never thought the sleeping bag thing was gonna be what it's turning into, but it's kind of cool.
Well, we're gonna figure out, from a Black in Sports, and just because MH and his many city tours that he's lived in has ties to Colorado, so we'll figure something out how we can support with that, and we'll talk to you online. And then please, we're gonna put this message in the show notes. We're gonna clip some of this stuff up just so we can continue support as well. And man, just want to totally thank you for the bottom, just to kind of get on here, spend that time, be real. You've been busy, so I'm so glad we were able to connect, man, and share a bit of your story. And I hope you enjoyed it, man.
No, it was a lot of fun, man. I really appreciate you, brothers. I love what you all are doing. Continue to highlight people, continue to show that Black people are doing amazing things and hopefully inspiring others to do the same.
Amen, man. So, hey, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. As you know, we post new shows every Thursday. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're seeing that YouTube channel, because if you see it, you can be it, so visual representation matters. And as we always say, please stay safe, practice gratitude, and know we're rooting for you.
Screaming, all us blacks got is sports and entertainment until we even.
Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Yeah. Yeah. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Look. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. Spent about 2 racks on handmade new rags. Assuming I'm rooting for everybody that's black. That's everybody from sports to college class to rap.